template layer of creation, another term, is a place that I feel every human being, every spiritual human being should experience at least once in their spiritual life, in their journey into synchronization. But most humans, unfortunately, do not get to do that and explore this particular layer above the astral. Very, very few do. There are ways that in meditation, in deep meditative states, or even out-of-body experiences, the human can experience this particular layer slightly, but not fully. They can experience it energetically, but not actually being there in a fifth density layer, so physical layer, because we're physical in fifth density. And they can't explore this layer properly and work with the beings there, work with different layers of their higher self there. I was fortunate enough once in my own experience on my own journey in 2018 to go there. And in 2018, I was in Moscow, Russia for the Anthropologics Expo. I stayed at a hotel just on the main street there, Tversky Street, which is very close to the Tchaikovsky concert hall. So about a couple of weeks in, after I've done all my business there that I needed to do, I decided to do some sightseeing. And I remember buying so many tickets to these museums and those museums and a variety of different typical standard touristy stuff. And after dinner the night before my sightseeing day, went to dinner at around 7:30, went to bed right away after, set my alarm clock for the next day to be woke up at 7 or 8 to go to the restaurant in the morning to have the breakfast. But unfortunately, I never woke up for approximately or just over 30 hours. So for 30 hours without waking up, without going to the bathroom, without even having a necessity to eat or drink or being thirsty or hungry or even hearing the traffic on the outside or hearing the house cleaning staff that would be walking through the hallway, knocking on doors. Excuse me, do you need service? Nothing. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear nothing. I completely missed just over 30 hours, including the traffic on the outside. I faced the main street. This is one of the busiest streets in Moscow. 10 minutes away, walking from the Red Square. Nothing woke me up. Not even for a moment did I even remember waking up. I slept completely through. And that morning, or very early in the morning, I was extremely confused when I woke up. I woke up naturally, and I was kind of freaked out in a way because I thought someone drugged me the night before or abducted me the night before. So the very first thing, and I was still I put on pajamas, and I went downstairs and I said, "Excuse me, I'd like to see your CCTV video surveillance footage. I'd like to know who came into my room." And we did. We reviewed the NVR, the DVR, and no one came to the room. No one came in, no one came out. I never left that room. I was in there for over a couple of days, with just a stretch of almost 3 days, but I slept for 2 days, which is insane. I've never heard of that before. So what in essence occurred is I had that typical missing time gap. And we needed to find out, in my own head, I said, I needed to find out what's going on. Where did I go? Who took me? What happened? Did someone open up a portal in my room and took me or not? Definitely, I needed to find out exactly what happened. So when I started to think back and roll the film, I was very fortunate to have the recall, the bleed throughs, the memory recall, and it was bled through from fifth and sixth density layer down to fifth, fourth, low third density. So I was able to have that pushed down on my behalf because of my higher self and my connection with my higher fractal consciousness. So I started to understand that, wait a minute, I was in a university type of setting, this major, huge classroom with chairs, and I was the only one there as far as human perspective is concerned. There were millions and millions of different books there, so I said, I have to explore this more. So I brought back more recall and thought about it and really rolled back the film. And I remember being in a very large university type of setting, and I was the only one at the table. And I had these blueprints and AutoCAD designs and schematics of my life, and it said my name and last name, my birth city. It showed me my death, exactly what year I'm going to die, and different options for my death, so different type of exit points. And I was able to also look at my career desires, romantic desires, sexual desires, travel desires, career desires, everything that I ever wanted, what kind of car I want to drive, what kind of a house do I want to be, and how spiritual or not do I wish to be. And I wanted to get more information, through some very, very strict and rigorous spiritual practices. They're kind of too deep for an average spiritual person, and allowing third eye energy and telepathy, astral recreation of the actual event, so the playback of the actual event, involvement of my own higher self fractal, so fifth density, sixth density, and including fourth density layer to be pushed down to my third density layer. I involved all these layers in order for me to see exactly the whole event, what really happened to me, what was this university room. What did I select with these blueprints? What did I choose? What did I revise? And what ended up actually happening is when I went to bed that night in a hotel room around just after dinner time, I shifted my fourth density part of my higher self soul, and I shifted my energy and shifted to the template layer itself. So surpassing the dream state, surpassing the astral state. And I did this subconsciously, of course. I did not do this consciously. I didn't even plan on it. I never even knew this template layer exists. So I really did not know that this is going to happen. The night, like I said, I was going to do sightseeing the next day. And that's exactly what happened. I went to the template layer of the creation, which is an incredible place where the template of the physical reality really exists, and where a place where the current life is planned, created, revised, edited. Things are added to the incarnation that a human would desire. So this information is there, it was there for me to see how exactly do I wish to live my life, which extraterrestrials I would desire to meet, to even be spiritual or not, to be in this career or not, to die at this year, to die in another year, to extend my exit points, what I'm going to love and hate and like and dislike, what I'm going to gravitate to, who I'm going to like, who I'm going to date, where I'm going to do. So this entire layer is a blueprint for a physical reality, like a guide of a physical reality, and also a place where guide and blueprints are really read. This is not an Akashic record, no, this is more of a design area for a life. And I revised many different things I disliked, and I added things in this particular incarnation of mine that I really, really desired, because I wanted to make my living life, my living day-to-day life, my incarnation that I'm in right now, best of the best possible, really. And I communicated with a variety of different extraterrestrials there being, a variety of different races were there. They're part of my oversoul. And they were there also with the group of my Galactic Guides that I currently work with, about 12 to 15 beings, including some beings that I'm not part of a galactic program, but they are my friends that I met in the Astral. We have our own agreements and in a way partnerships that we're going to be friends in this particular incarnation. I had a chance to meet the Yaels, which is a hybrid family I'm part of. Even the Mantis, even the Sasquatch, one of the Elohim was there, a Saint Germain collective was there, which is a collective of consciousnesses, a variety of different reptilians, including the Draconians that I'm currently connected with, and THETA TAURI reptilians, which I mostly am connected with now. I spoke with multiple different layers of my higher self, of my higher fractal consciousness, approximately 30 layers, 32 layers out of the 120 layers. So multiple conversations really took place. And this was all telepathic, of course. Different conversations at the same time took place. The beings were surrounding me, so I had them in the front, back, almost north, east, west, south type of thing, and we were able to really look at the best possible outcome for my current incarnation. So we looked at mental energy, we looked at psychic abilities, mental warfare, telepathy, telekinesis, we looked at enabling tremendous amount of DNA, we looked at teleportation. So I was located that time between the last layer of physical reality, so between 6th density and 7th density, where the energy really begins the non-physical part or the non-physical region. It's located directly in the last 5 percentiles of the 6th density layer and the first 10 percentiles of the 7th density layer. And the way 6th and 7th ends, so 6.9 would really end the 6th density layer before it gets into the 7th. And it was a layer where I was at that's approximately 6.95 or 6.97 density layer. So this energy is directly a layer that's non-physical. It's a place between the last layer of physical reality and the very first layer of the non-physical reality. So technically right on the fence, right in between. And this is a place where all consciousness go to focus on direct creation of the physical reality in all dimensions and in all possible ways of reality. And I really mean all possible ways of reality. And human consciousness, technically, yes, the human consciousness does have the capacity to go into that layer because of our own 6th density lineage, of our own multidimensional DNA. Humans are multidimensional. We're not just, we didn't come from monkeys and Big Bang hoax theories. We're multidimensional there. We're a hybrid race. We're pretty new to Earth. This is not our planet. So in this particular layer, the guidance was given to me by my own 6th density consciousness, tips, advice. I had to make the decisions, of course, but we looked at my entire life. How do I desire to live this particular incarnation? The entire 6th density layer was there, with another being, which is a 6th density humanoid Pleiadian being from a region named Tikrit, who I didn't know before. Of course, it's the first time I interacted with this particular entity. a giant, as I would describe him. And both of these consciousnesses worked really patiently and faithfully with me to help me share the mental and consciousness expansion, because enough of my own consciousness from my lower fractal consciousness, 20% of my soul portion, which is 20% lower fractal consciousness, of the entire soul, 80% is the higher fractal consciousness. So enough of this layer, the lower fractal, was placed inside of that experience, and it gave me the prestigious, this incredibly powerful, remarkable opportunity to fully explore that particular layer, the template layer of creation, or as I'd say, template layer energy. So as my sixth density soul, or sixth density higher fractal consciousness, aka higher self, aka soul, as they were present, also this Tikrit entity, sixth density humanoid Pleiadian being, was there. And I had a conversation, a chat with him. First of all, why is he even there? But also, who is his race? And they definitely did describe the existence of their race and where they're from. But we concentrated on my blueprint of my incarnation, all of the upcoming events that I'm going to have in this life, good and bad, including deaths of family members and pets, to very incredibly powerful things. Being a channeler, this is exactly what I wanted to accomplish for myself. I looked at exit points, so death points, different timelines, option, careers, achievements, goals, travel, a tremendous amount of, I'm addicted to travel. It's one of my biggest addictions and my passions in life. I looked at sexual and romantic relationships, option to have children or not. I currently don't have kids. It's an option I selected. Option to be married or not, options for an early death or a later death. Options exactly which extraterrestrial race and extra-dimensional race I would desire to meet right now in my human life. I started with the beings from Pleiades to Arcturus to Andromeda, tremendous amount of reptilians, because I gravitate because of my own DNA through reptilian energy. And this was all accomplished. I've already accomplished these things, and I proudly speak about these things, including being involved in the Yael program. Wonderful, loving beings, of course. So I took all these options, every single one of them. If it's exciting, I took it. If it was boring, I didn't take it. I don't like anything that's boring. I mean, who the fuck wants boring and average? That's not life, that's just living. I desire significant excitement. So that's exactly what I selected for myself, is to have something that's greater than average, bigger than average, stronger than average. So I selected every single extraterrestrial connection I can possibly get, I took it. And being a channeler, and being an extraterrestrial contactee and an extraterrestrial experiencer, I've been on crafts to different planets in the astral form. I've had face-to-face contacts, a variety of different things. This is exactly what I would want for myself, because if I'm going to have one contact, then why not have 50? Why not have 10? I'm not married with no kids. I'm an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. I have ability, and I'm very grateful to be able to travel the life, travel the world. So why not have as much as extraterrestrial contact as possible? Because one day when I die, I mean, whenever that is, I don't want people to come and see me and say, you know what, Anthony, really, like, it was very reserved and passive. I mean, I'm the opposite of that. I'm not really gravitating towards passive, submissive, weak, you know, the followers, the sheep. Not really. I gravitate towards the brave and the strong and the honorable, and people that take prideful actions, people that take tremendous amount of risks in life. Fear-mongering, scare tactics don't really work with my DNA. They don't work with my skin. So I really want people to look at me and say, you know what, this guy did a lot of different things. This guy really explored life. He did this and he did that. And especially when it comes to the spiritual community. Spiritual community, ufology, extraterrestrial community, contact, channeling. I don't want to be the channeler that says, oh, I think I talk to spirit. I think I do automatic writing and read cards. That's not channeling. That's nothing. Channeling is real trance channeling. And in this case, in my particular life now, I have tremendous opportunity to work for a variety of different reptilians, which I proudly do, including Teotor reptilians, Alpha Draconian Empire, but more importantly, Theta Tauri reptilians. I mean, their vibrational signature and energy truly matches my own. So pride, honor, bravery, brotherhood, adventure, excitement, respect, prideful action, truth, unity, integrity. Absolutely. So this is something that I did select in the template layer. I had a chance to choose which ET I desire to work with, which energies I desire to work with. And some of the energies are not even physical. They're just consciousness. And I remember even seeing myself at a very edge of the universe, allowing my body to really expand past the non-physical, allowing it to enter the boundary of the universe and circle around and play around and lowered it to integrate into the highest realms of consciousness. It was an incredible, powerful experience. I've never really worked with sixth density at that time. This was very good face-to-face with sixth density. So it was something that I'm obviously never going to forget. It was a rare opportunity. It was a grateful opportunity to be able to help create and design my own third dimensional life, my own physical, human, day-to-day life. So it's easier, it's more rewarding, more exciting, it's fun, it's spiritually rich, and just arranging and designing which plan I would like to have in a spiritual path, and contactee path, and channeling path, and traveling path. I mean, that's like a kid playing a video game. But these template layers are very, very real. And they help me tremendously with proficiency, with accuracy, and everything I've designed at that time, going back to 2018, has came true. I was also explained very clearly the details between our own physical body, mental body, emotional body, spiritual body, the mental state, the different layers of the soul, different layers and departments of a soul, so all of the different 120 layers, and then the layers that are connected back to that soul. Because our soul has tremendous amount of layers, into 300,000 type of layers. Soul is not just one entity. And I don't mean this whole bullshit nonsense on the internet. We see the new age cult, GFL, Astral, and those cults, they're talking about love, light, unicorn, and rainbows, and this is the soul. It's not like that. The information in the template layer and in the higher density layers is so deep, so unique. We cannot find it on the internet. And they explain how all these layers are even connected. What is consciousness, what's energy, and how does that really play a part in our own reality, in my own reality, in our quantum existence, and all the densities in between that existence. They explain the differences between the physical and non-physical realities, parallel universes, time travel, teleportation, everything that has to do with astral, and like from A to Z. The Akashic Record, yeah, to me, it's kind of a boring information. I wanted more. I wanted to know more about alternative timelines and switching timelines and going to different universes and parallel universes, advanced remote viewing, advanced teleportation, telekinesis, interstellar travel, advanced telepathy, enabling telepathy, teaching humans how to enable telepathy. And which is exactly all the information that I really wanted, and to almost enrich myself so that I can be better. And we as humans, we learn things every day. And I am a sponge for information. I always have been a sponge for information. Traveling and information about ancient civilizations, anything that has to do with interstellar, galactic, cosmic topics, extraterrestrials is one of my biggest passions, of course, channeling and channeling abilities, and these kind of agreements between ETs and humans. This is exactly what I wanted to know. And I've followed pretty much half of my life doing this. So I said, I desire to train others, I desire to teach others, I desire to show others, not so I can make money just because I'm a service to others. I'm not in service to myself. Consider myself to be a benevolent, neutral type of human. I desire to take my energy and give it to someone else so they can integrate it within their own spiritual life. And we agreed. We had a phenomenal agreement. Every layer of my soul agreed. I agreed based on the path that I'm on right now. And a lot of the collectives I communicated, the Elohim Collective, the Saint Germain Collective, a lot of different collectives from Series A, Series B, so beings that would have 25, 30 races, not the Galactic Federations. That's just a fraud. Those are all frauds. They don't exist, but real collectives where you have a variety of different extraterrestrial races working together in an interstellar pact. And I chatted with a lot of these different collectives, including Arcturian collectives, Pleiadian collectives, Andromedan collectives, even collectives from Ursa Major and so forth. And I mean, these guys are all neighbors to one another. But the unique thing was the entity from Tikrit, 6th density Pleiadian being from Tikrit. This is the very same race that attacked the dinosaurs on Earth, who killed all the dinosaurs on Earth within just several years. And the Draconians paid them back for that and wiped out their entire race. So one of these beings was there, a descendant of this race was there, and I had a chance to talk to him about that. I did a video on dinosaurs and who really killed the dinosaurs, but this was a very interesting being from Tikrit, and that's something, of course, I'm never going to forget, because they don't really interact with humans that much. And eventually, after this whole wonderful 30-hour or so, approximately 30-hour experience, just slightly over 30 hours, I woke up. So my astral body returned to my physical body in that hotel room. I naturally and calmly, gently just woke up, and the astral body was returned energetically. And when it comes to these astral bodies and astral realms and dream states and dream-related type of layers, I mean, there's 3 types of layers. We have the dream state, so the very, very first is the low astral state, where dreams we experience mostly here on the Earth or Earth region. That's slightly higher dimension, but not really high. and we can move in a linear time. It's kind of boring. I mean, nobody wants to play there. A lot of the astral parasites go there who pretend to be these galactic federations and hijack channelers. So the second layer would be an astral state where we spend really most of our astral time, and this is what we see and feel and experience higher densities, higher dimensional entities, collectives, extraterrestrials, physical extraterrestrials. This is where we go on ships and crafts. This is where we have medical intervention and surgeries. This is where we interact with a lot of different galactic family, galactic friends, star family, people we've reincarnated with in many different lives. The third layer and the final layer is the template layer of creation, where the 6th density meets the 7th density. That's at that 6.9 density layer. Slightly confusing stuff, but astral is something that every single person should really perfect before they even start seeking extraterrestrial contact. There's really no physical beings that lives in above astral or below astral. Above astral is a template layer. It's a place to create, to materialize, and to practice, to revise your life, what you desire in life, what needs to be upgraded, to extend a death into another 5 years on Earth, another 10 years on Earth. Deaths can be extended, yes. And this third layer of creation, this powerful template layer, is really where the 6th density meets the 7th density, but only those brave and fearless, conscious creators, conscious humans that desire to create the magic for their own life can go there, where anything is possible. Any revision of this particular human life can be designed, revised, and edited in the third layer. So that is the template layer.